In October 2022, the United States did something it hadn't done in decades. It weaponized physics. The Biden administration announced export controls that banned American companies from selling advanced semiconductors to China. Not just chips, the machines that make the chips, the software that designs the machines, even the engineers who know how they work. Nvidia's stock dropped. ASML, the Dutch company that makes the most advanced lithography machines in the world, was cut off from its third largest customer overnight. China called it economic warfare. And then something unexpected happened. China started winning anyway. If you want to understand the next 20 years of global power, forget oil, forget currency. The real war is over 7-nanometer silicon and the artificial intelligence it powers. Chips are the new oil, and AI is the refinery. Whoever controls both doesn't just dominate tech, they dominate everything: finance, logistics, weapons, energy, surveillance, medicine. Every system that runs the modern world sits on top of semiconductors. The US knows this, so does China, and right now they're locked in a race that most people don't even realize is happening. The strange part? Both sides think they're losing. America sees China pouring hundreds of billions into chip manufacturing and AI research, ignoring sanctions, cloning restricted technology. China sees the US cornering the market on cutting-edge chips and controlling the entire supply chain from Taiwan to Arizona. So who's actually winning? The answer is more uncomfortable than you think. Let's start with how we got here. For decades, the global chip supply chain worked like this. America designs the chips, Taiwan manufactures them, Europe makes the machines, China assembles the products. Everyone profits. It was the most complex, most interdependent system ever built. Over 1,000 steps across a dozen countries to make a single advanced processor. Then AI exploded. ChatGPT launches in late 2022, and suddenly every government, every corporation, every military on Earth realizes the same thing. Whoever builds the best AI first controls the future, and AI runs on chips, specifically graphics processing units, GPUs, the kind Nvidia makes. These aren't normal chips. They're designed to handle trillions of calculations simultaneously, which is exactly what training AI requires. Demand goes vertical. Nvidia's valuation hits $3 trillion. But here's the problem. Taiwan's semiconductor manufacturing company, TSMC, makes over 90% of the world's most advanced chips, and Taiwan is 81 miles from mainland China. So the US panics. If China takes Taiwan or even threatens it, the entire Western tech sector collapses overnight. Apple, Google, Microsoft, the Pentagon, all of them dependent on an island Beijing considers a breakaway province. The export controls weren't about slowing China down, they were about decoupling before it's too late. Now, here's where the math gets weird. The sanctions were supposed to cripple China's chip industry, and in some ways they did. China can't access EUV machines, extreme ultraviolet lithography, the most advanced chip-making tools on Earth. Only ASML makes them, and the US made sure they're banned from Chinese soil. Without EUV, you can't make chips smaller than 7 nanometers, and the cutting edge is already at 3. But China didn't collapse, they adapted. Baidu, which was supposed to be dead after being cut off from American chips, released a smartphone in 2023 with a 7-nanometer processor, made in China. Analysts tore it apart trying to figure out how. Turns out they used older DUV machines, deep ultraviolet, and just ran them harder, slower, less efficiently, but it worked. China is now producing an estimated 60% of the world's legacy chips, the 14-nanometer and above processors that run cars, appliances, infrastructure. Not glamorous, but critical, and they're subsidizing their industry so heavily that Chinese firms are selling chips below cost, flooding the market, forcing competitors out. Meanwhile, the U.S. is spending $52 billion to build fabs on American soil. Intel is struggling. The Arizona TSMC plant is delayed and over budget. Turns out you can't just rebuild a supply chain that took 30 years to develop. Let's separate hype from reality. Yes, America still has the best AI models. OpenAI, Google DeepMind, Anthropic, all American. Yes, Nvidia still controls the premium GPU market. Yes, US chip design is unmatched, but China has the scale. They're training AI models on older, slower chips, networked together. Inefficient, but massive. Baidu, Alibaba, and Tencent are building systems the US doesn't even see because they're not published in English-language journals. China graduated twice as many STEM PhDs last year as the US. They're not starting from scratch. And here's the absurd part. The export controls might be accelerating China's independence. Before the bans, Chinese companies bought American chips because they were the best. Now they have no choice but to innovate domestically. We handed them a reason to catch up. There's a term for this in economics, the Streisand effect. Try to suppress something and you make it more prominent. We tried to bury China's chip industry. We might have just forced it to grow. If China closes the gap or even gets close, the global economy splits, not just in chips, in everything. Two competing tech ecosystems, two AI standards, two versions of the internet. Countries will have to choose sides, and most of them will choose based on who offers the better deal, not who shares their values. The US loses leverage. Right now, American companies set the rules because everyone needs access to the technology. But if there's a Chinese alternative, even a slightly inferior one, authoritarian governments will take it. No sanctions risk, no speeches about human rights, just business. And economically, it gets brutal. The chip industry isn't just valuable, it's deflationary. Better chips means better AI. Better AI means automation. Automation means fewer jobs, lower costs, faster growth. Whichever country leads in chips leads in productivity. The other one stagnates. So who's winning? Right now, America, barely. We have the edge in design, in talent, in the most advanced nodes, but edges erode, and China has something we don't: patience, state coordination, the ability to lose money for a decade if it means winning long term. The uncomfortable truth is this: we're not competing with a company, we're competing with a civilization state that views technology as survival. They're not trying to beat us in 5 years, they're trying to outlast us in 50.